Hey Alan, welcome to this live stream. And hello everyone joining from all over the world on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, on Alan's Instagram, on Alan's LinkedIn. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Um, so, a quick introduction of who I am, if you do not know me already, and especially if you're on Alan's side of things. I'm Arti. I'm an AI educator and an AI entrepreneur. I've been in and out of different jobs in the past 10 years. I have a overall collective experience of 10 years in the AI field. And this AI educator thing is something that I'm doing for the past 6 months. And I am pretty excited, super pumped to be joined by my friend and my co-educator right now. I'm at a place called Jungli the Nomad Village here in Dandeli, and Alan is one of the co-educators here. So we have similar screens behind us. That means we are in the same building. Anyways, welcome, Alan. How are you doing today?
Hi, thanks for the intro, Artie. Really appreciate you having me on. I think we have that similar background in education. Yeah, you said you were doing it for 6 months,
Yeah.
um, all this whole time, which is amazing. I mean, I was basically a software engineer for the past 6 years, but before that, I was an educator, and I think you were as well. So we both have that like background in teaching. So we
Yeah.
joined this teaching program with the hope to be able to spread, democratize AI knowledge, and I think we did that pretty well here when we were at Jungli.
Right. Yeah, we did that. And it's been super fun, like working with you, being a co-educator, like speaking to lot of different groups of students. Again, yeah, it's been a fun ride. So, Alan, I know you, but a lot of our audience, like, they do not know you. So, would you mind giving a very quick, a brief introduction about who you are, where you're from, what's your education, in depth, if you can.
Sure, I'll give you the full gamut, the full rundown. So I'm originally British, like originally from the UK, from England, Northern England. I'm an English boy, and I think for most of my life, I was just an avid learner, always learning at university, and I have to say, was very into being international. And so when I graduated, I went all the way to China outside of university to be an English teacher. I learned Mandarin as well, so it's kind of like seeing it from both sides, seeing it from the educator's perspective, where you're actually teaching, and then being a student myself, I like learning Mandarin. So I was always really interested in education, and I saw how that really changed my life. So yeah, did a bit of a pivot into something more technology based. So that's how the AI comes in. I switched to be a software engineer, and yeah, that was a big transition because I was, doing a lot of just liberal arts sort of stuff. I was a history major, but I learned from scratch and eventually became a software engineer and got my first job. And then I think it was around 2020, just after COVID, that I got my first software engineer role. And then that was me for the past 6 years, like a range of roles. Um, I think AI in the last just like 4 years, 5 years was starting to pick up. But really recently in the last year, I think, I don't know if you ever tried GitHub Copilot. This is like 2022. Just
Mhm.
like this is before ChatGPT was happening. And like I was one of the beta users, so I signed up as a beta user to use like very early AI completion for code snippets. So I was like
Wow.
copying and pasting my just like trying to test out little functions where you had like small snippets of code that it would be able to generate. I remember
Mhm.
for one of my one of my jobs, I had to give a presentation. I worked at a company called Global Logic. It's like a corporate environment, and they have a lot of education sessions. And I was a teacher, so I took it upon myself to want to take over a session, and I demonstrated the code completion abilities of Copilot in like that time of like 2023, like 2022.
Mm-hmm.
and you could generate little bits of it, but it was still not quite there, but still was very capable. And like I was really interested in it from the very start because I saw that something was changing, something was really, really big was changing. And now we're here where AI is just massive, changing everything. So it kind of brings me full circle to wanting to come back to education and then joining you at this teaching program in
Mm-hmm.
India, wanting to use my technical knowledge and be able to share that. Given professionally, I use AI a lot, so I have decent skills and a bit of an expert, somewhat of an expert in some of these coding tools. So I wanted to spread that to my students and give them like the confidence to be able to actually build a lot of things and get the most out of all the tools. So I think I don't know if that's answers your question overall, like gives you an insight to who I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. It does splendidly. And I believe that you're underselling yourself as a little bit of an expert. That's not that's I mean that's not true. I've known you for like 1 month now. I've been working alongside you, and to anybody listening to this, Alan is a fantastic AI engineer. He's not a person who just like vibe codes. He's been a software engineer, so he knows the ins and outs of it. He's the kind of a person who can go in and fix your code and not entirely rely on your Claude or Codex. So he was quite underselling himself there. So I just had to like step in. Yeah, but anyways, Alan, you mentioned that you also like worked in different jobs and you were an AI engineer. What are you doing right now?
Yeah, right now is basically my newest venture at the moment. I am going into automations and building the solutions. So, I was always an employee before this, but now I have that entrepreneurial drive to really want to build my own business and to really help use my tech skills and my knowledge in AI to be able to help people solve people's business problems. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm already working with a couple of clients now,
Wow.
helping solve some of their business issues. I've got a client who has a services business and another client who is a coach. So it's offering some bespoke services, helping them to improve their business operations is kind of the focus. Um, that's the thing, trying to be really focused because there's so many applications for AI tools at the moment that we taught it to a lot of our students on this program, and it's sort of choosing which tools in the right use case that is kind of what we make our money from, right? And what gives us our expertise to help advise our clients.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fantastic. Awesome. So you mentioned about this specific client that you're working with. You're automating one of their use cases, I imagine. So can you talk a little bit more about that? Something that you finished with recently. I'm asking this because that's a very cool and interesting thing that you did, and I want the audience to also like know about it.
Sure. So I can speak about a client um, who I've known for a number of years, who was at the same university as me. But yeah, this client, he has a services business, and so he has 2,000 clients who are operating a business end to end, installing rainwater water harvesting. So they're doing the consulting at the very beginning, they're doing the installation and the maintenance. And so this is like a multi-year process where they have thousands of clients over 4 years. But he's really having scaling issues because the entire business operates on WhatsApp. And so if you can imagine, the employees have Excel spreadsheets and they have WhatsApp, and all the client information is coming through WhatsApp. And there's really no automation at all. Everything's very manual. So some solutions that we're talking about that I've helped with is like just reminders to the employees to reach out for leads, reminders that they have to create invoices, and that automation to be able to build an invoice for a client very quickly. And some of these streamlined solutions are the things that will make a business be able to scale versus stagnate. That's probably the most obvious use cases of some things that I've automated in the business.
Wow, that's amazing. Like managing 2,000 clients is such a nightmare. Like I'm sitting here with just few clients and it's like very difficult. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Alan. And you just like very briefly mentioned about how to use different tools and when to use AI, when not to use AI. So what do you like think about it? These days, as we see like a lot of students coming in and a lot of non-students who are like staying here in Jungli, so they just like sign up to a Claude and then they start building, right? So what is your opinion on this? Is it something sustainable? Is it scalable, or where is everybody headed?
Yeah, it's a big one. I think, like, when you talk about building now, anyone can do it. It's so accessible. But if you're going to build a business, you can't just sit at Claude Code all day building an application. If you
Mhm.
want to have something be successful, you really need users. So you need marketing, you need sales, you need, like, there's so many multifaceted aspects of building something. And
Mhm.
so you have to think about how AI can enable you in many different domains. So you can build, but you also need to build systems to help you to be able to for people to use your product, right, and to get clients for your service. So I don't think, yeah, you have to choose the right tool for the right use case, and just be able to know that know when to use it. Um,
Mhm.
I think one use case, well, one thing I would say specifically, if we're talking about marketing, because that's like a huge use case where I think there's a difference between if you're going to entertain and inform. And I would say informational stuff is actually very good for AI. If people just want the information, you can have generate your AI avatars, generating AI avatars, generating podcasts, generating that content for entertainment and information. You can create AI videos and avatars, just like
Mhm.
so much use case.
Right.
Um, but I think if you're wanting to build trust for certain use cases of a particular expert, you don't want to necessarily come off as it's definitely AI behind it. So, if you're trying to reach out to do cold calling, if you're trying to yeah try to reach an audience, you
Mhm.
need to be understanding that if you're using AI text or if it appears AI, what are the implications of that? So you don't always want to, if you want to read, like, part of the reason why someone loves a J.K. Rowling book is because it's J.K. Rowling and it's Harry Potter, right? It's the
Right.
real person behind the book, right? So
Mhm.
likewise, someone might really want to know the person behind who is the business or who is the person doing a service for certain brand, for your brand, right?
Yeah.
So if you knew that Harry Potter was actually, there was a version of it, the next book, it was actually an AI agent that wrote it, would people still want it as much as if they knew it was really from J.K. Rowling? So I think you've got to know when the use case is to use AI,
Mhm.
and I would say making it enhance who you are as an individual, as a brand, is
Right.
better in a lot of cases.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And this reminds me of the incredible growth of Lovable, the app lovable.dev, right? So I've been associated with them for like I don't know, ever since they launched it, and I've seen their growth, their marketing strategy, and everything. It's like an amazing playbook that they have, and it's all based on personal branding. Each of the employees at Lovable, at least in the senior leadership level, they have a personal brand on LinkedIn. They do community outreach. They host events. And yeah, I think that's the biggest moat moving forward, like having your own personal brand, knowing that, Alan is somebody who does these things. and RC is somebody who does these things. It's not the company anymore, it's the individual person with the capabilities that they bring onto the table. Yeah, you put it really well. Awesome. I think on the same lines, we also have one question here on Instagram. It's from Anand. Oh, he's my ex-colleague. So he has asked, AI is growing day by day. We can't even catch up. If it's some kind of framework, we know how to learn. But for AI, I can't structure a syllabus for what to learn and how to learn. I think this is a very fantastic question. As AI educators, we get asked, this question a lot, right? AI is growing at a very fast pace. Um, how do we even, catch up? How do we even keep up? Do you want to take this first, and then I can, put my version of it.
Yeah, I would say I think it's really good to find definitely some authorities in the
Hmm.
space, um, for whatever domain you're really interested in.
Hmm.
Um, so, I mean, for example, if you're interested in AI generally, you should follow Artie on all the socials, and a lot of them are already doing that, so they're doing the right thing. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, but I would I would say find a domain expert in whatever field you're interested in. So, for example, if you're super interested in frontier labs and you're super interested in AGI, this kind of topic, Anthropic, the big tech companies in the US, follow someone like Andrej Karpathy, who's you'll find him on X. I love like paying attention to those people who are at the forefront of the industry or are very respected and have a following. And the reason I want to do that is to just stay up to date with the trends. And they usually have their fingers on the pulse. It might feel a little bit overwhelming to stay up to date with all the news and everything. But if you follow people who are respected in the industry, that'll that'll keep you up in good stead. So that's what I would advise.
Yeah, cool. That's one thing that I also wanted to mention. Follow the right people, especially on LinkedIn and also on Twitter. And there are a few who post things on Instagram as well, like our very own Alan. So right now he's doing his series called 30 Days and 30 Automations, which is like pretty cool and insane. If you think about it, if you follow all of his videos, if you binge watch all of his videos, you will end up learning about 30 different automations. There is this one particular video about yourself. I think on day three or something, where you went to the barber shop and then he was like doing your hair, and then you built from straight from your phone, like using Claude's remote control of the feature, which was pretty amazing, I'd say. Um, yeah, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, that was fun. So yeah, I decided to do 30 automations in 30 days. It's like this new little series I've been doing. Just want to push out all the little projects I've been going for, and just this one turned into a bit of a vlog actually. I just went and got my hair cut at the local barber in the area that we're in. And so,
Mhm.
as a foreigner here, it's very funny to see the reactions of people. But what I did was I took my phone,
Mhm.
and I downloaded the desktop, the mobile app, and connected my mobile app with Claude to my computer here. And so then, while I was getting my hair done, I had my head getting blow dried while I was accessing Claude Code on my computer at home. So just vlogging stuff like that. That was one of the funny ones, I think. But yeah, if you just got to find all the cool little features or use cases of of these tools, and you can have fun with it.
Yeah, that was super fun watching you. And I should say that you're becoming more Indian these days. Like you're 1 month, 1.5 months here in India. Yeah, with the head bobble and everything. Pretty cool. And yeah, we love having you here, Alan. I think recently the dance that you did, I posted it on my Instagram and also YouTube. It went viral there. I not say viral. It got like several thousand views in it. Pretty rare for my YouTube. So anyway,
I think I was dancing to Bollywood music, right? So I don't know. Maybe there's not much content out there of like
yeah.
foreign folks dancing to some Bollywood.
Mm.
But I'm really
Yeah.
embracing the Indian life, I guess, like having fun with all the dancing.
Yep. We have something brewing. We have the family night at 9 p.m. right every Monday. I think they're waiting for us, and let's go join them at 9:30, and maybe more dancing. You never know. And also, like, I wanted to mention a couple more things in addition to what you did, with respect to how to keep up with AI and how to learn what's coming out. Number one, as you rightly mentioned, follow the right people. That's the best thing to do. Number two, you can make use of AI to learn about AI, right? So set up your Claude skills, Claude routines, schedule tasks in your Claude so that every morning or like weekly, it gives you a summary of everything that has like come out in the past week or like past 24 hours. I do that. So I have this daily pulse thing running in my Claude, which would fetch all the relevant information that has happened in the AI space, new models, new tools, new repositories for that matters, which I can like supplement my Claude with. So that's something that I do, and also like I found it very helpful and useful to like stay on top of things. So yeah, that's one way to go. Anyways, moving on to Alan. Let's let's talk about you more, Alan. Yeah, you were in Malaysia in the network school for a while. So network school is such a cool thing. I only learned about it after coming to Jungli and from you, basically, from you and Divi, who the person who runs it. So can you tell us a bit more about what network school is and your time at network school?
Yes, network school. What an idea that is! It's a startup founder society, like a
Mm-hmm.
community that was in Malaysia, just right off the border of Singapore. Although they've recently moved to Kazakhstan. So you have a lot of remote workers, founders, entrepreneurs that go there. It's like a huge co-living. If you think like a huge building, which has like a hotel in some ways, has all you can want. It has all events, tech events, networking events, marketing events. It has sports, like your gym, or your food and your
Mm-hmm.
accommodation. So you pay a flat fee, and you get all of that provided for you, and you're living full time with essentially people of a similar like-minded, um, with people who are in the AI space, who have their own businesses, who are building, and so it's a really cool environment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so it's like an international society for founders and entrepreneurs, and I was there just a few months ago. I went there for a month, and an interesting story. My roommate, who I was staying with, was actually someone who was a startup founder, a VC founder, who lives in Bangalore, and
Mm-hmm.
is founding his own app and raised some VC money. And so through that, I was like, my mind was open to like the startup scene in Bangalore. And so
Mm-hmm.
before I came, so after, so network school, I made friends with him. And then after it ended, I came to India and visited him, and saw the area in HSR, and saw like the whole startup scene in all the tech towers in Bangalore. So like really great things up and coming in India, and that led me to here. So
Yeah.
by the way, you should,
Amazing.
I gave you my affiliate code, my affiliate link actually as well. So
Oh,
if anyone wants to go to network school, you can get a discount of $250. So I think flat rate is $1,500 per month. You get
yeah.
all your living, all of your food, your accommodation, and surrounded by all the builders. So if you use that link, you can get discount. You should go to networkschool.com and find, just have a look at the the society, because it's super cool.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, I only knew about network school like a month ago, and I cannot wait to go there. So I'm already
Yeah,
making plans.
I should say ns.com, not a network school. ns.com. You can research it yourself. You see it, and actually it's super
Mhm.
cool. There's quite a good number of Indian participants there as well. But yeah, right now they're in Kazakhstan. Um, and yeah, really recommend it if anyone's interested in going.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. I think we should all go and use Alan's affiliate link. If you can like put that up as well, or even always like reach out to Alan on LinkedIn. He's pretty active there, or Instagram. Alan would be happy to share his affiliate link because he shared it with me, and I'm gonna get $250 off when I go.
Yeah,
Pretty
I just
cool.
put it in the chat, and then yeah,
All right.
maybe you can share it on the socials if people are interested. Then you can get a discount.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Amazing. I'm just like gonna display it here on the screen so that everybody can see it and they can use it. Awesome, good stuff. So yeah, you were in network school for a while, working on your um, AI engineer job, and then you're here in Jungli being an AI educator, and also building your business along the way as an automation expert, automating people's businesses and stuff. So fun things. So what's ahead of you? You know, what are you up to next?
Yes, next, lots of good things happening. So the first thing is motorbike trip that we just discussed before this call,
Yeah.
which is in Ladakh, northern India. I love nature, I love mountains. So last year I went to Thailand on motorbikes with a friend. So this time I really want to do that. So that will be just before I fly to the UK, back to my hometown, for a cruise that I'm going on from UK to New York, from Southampton to New York, which is actually the Titanic route. Um, but yeah, hopefully we'll actually make it. There'll be no there'll be no icebergs on the way, hopefully. But I'm going on a cruise called Nomad Cruise.
Mm-hmm.
The Nomad Cruise is another one of these founder entrepreneur society kind of events where it's basically a conference at sea. But this time for Nomad Cruise, it's an AI conference at sea. So tons of founders, builders, entrepreneurs, remote workers, and I'll be one of the speakers at the Nomad Cruise event. I'm going to be talking about how to build your own personalized AI agent to a big audience, hopefully. And yeah, it'll be a lot of stuff. Like it'll be a practical workshop. So I'll be using Claude Code and getting people to use it practically.
Mm-hmm. Amazing, amazing stuff. And you're traveling the Titanic route you mentioned. So should I say maybe you meet your roast there?
That would be amazing. Let's see. Let's see if I'm lucky. Yeah,
Yeah. We can call her AI roast. Yeah. All right.
AI will.
Yeah. Okay. I think we have a question in the chat. What are the essential things which can be leveraged using the AI model so that we can explore the research opportunities? Hmm? What are the essential things? I'm trying to understand the question here. Um, but do you hear a drum sound? Like,
I
no?
don't
All
hear a
right.
drum. Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Yeah, I'll repeat the question because there's like somebody playing drums outside. So I just want to make sure that it's not audible on the stream. Anyways, the question was, what are the essential things which can be leveraged using AI so that we can explore research opportunities? So I think this person kind of wants to like use AI for research and what tools or techniques they can use to kind of like use AI for research.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of use cases and like technologies I'm using for AI research. It depends on your experience, I'd say. But like for example, I'm using OpenClaw at the moment for my research. I think everyone was talking about OpenClaw for the last few years,
Yeah.
since January, but now less people are. So
Mhm.
I use OpenClaw for my research for stock picking for my stock. So I have it on a server running every week, and it researches my stock picks for me for financial research.
Mhm.
But I would say I mean, it's quite involved to set that up if you're not a little bit technical.
Mhm.
But I mean, a tool like Claude Code or Codex, they have web scraping built in, right? So super like native out the box, you can create any routine on a schedule. What I would say, if
Mhm.
you have a very specific bit of research that you want, you can create a workflow, just essentially just using a text file. So you give it all the information of the type of information, all the information of the things that you want to find and the criteria of
Mhm.
research, how to digest it, the types of websites and resources you want to access to be able to find that
Mhm.
and collate it in the right way. And you can run that on a schedule,
Mhm.
just in the way, Artie, that you said that you can, yeah, you can add it on a schedule, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic. Awesome. And we have one more question on the same grounds. If I would like to learn automation, what is the best method? Uh, I think maybe Sai Karan wants to kind of automate basic things. So, what would you suggest the best tool for him to like kind of start off with?
I would say, yeah, it really depends on the type of automation you're talking about, because a lot of it can be done, like I say, like as simple as Claude Code on a schedule right there, or Claude Cowork. But there's some tools to maybe do a bit of research on. I would say something like N8N or Make.com. You might want to be aware of those tools. Are there any workflows or things that you do in your life that you do every week or every month that would just be, if you could systematize that and make that a bit easier for yourself? Like, for example, can you extract your financial statements, and can you
Mhm.
analyze them? Do you have invoices that you need to organize to your to your Google Drive? Do you have lots of photos and videos on your phone that you need to sort? So it's just like your routine daily life. Are there any things that you can systematize? What I would do is I would just have a chat with Claude or with ChatGPT and find out ways to try to make those really boring processes much more easily accessible. And that's,
Mhm.
yeah, that's how, probably how I'd get started if you're looking to automate.
Cool. And I think the next question is really suitable because once you start doing all of these things in Claude, you would eventually run out of tokens, right? So currently, I have token max for the week, and I'm again waiting for my Wednesday for my tokens to reset. So the question was, how do you save tokens in Claude? So I think there are a couple of ways people can do that. One, there is something called as a I don't remember the skill to be exact, but there are a couple of skills that you can add to your Claude so that your Claude does not use a lot of tokens while doing unnecessary things like the thinking, the processing, all of those things can be covered. I can probably look for those skill links and put it in the chat. But in the meantime, Alan, you have a lot of tips to offer. So how can somebody save tokens in Plot?
Yeah, there are a few things. I mean, if two things come to mind. The first thing is the model that you choose. Some models are much more token hungry than others. So we're talking about tokens here, right? So input and output. Some models, they will process and give much more of an output and be much more hungry of your tokens. And that's what takes up your usage. So you want to be very mindful of that. If you're talking about Claude, then, a model like Opus 5 or Opus 4.8 will be much more hungry than Haiku 4.5. And so, if we go back to the research agent, if you have a very specific workflow from a text file, and you want to send that off to do some research in an automated way, if you know that, like, doing some research of extracting text information from a website is quite a simple operation, really. You're not doing complex code.
Mhm.
um, it's not a complex operation, so you could use Haiku 4.5. So use one of the smaller, less complex models for that to limit your token use. So that's one. That's like the choice of model. And the next thing is, how you manage your memory and your context in each session that you're using.
Mm-hmm.
So every session, I would keep your sessions very focused. So once you have a long conversation and you want to do another task, I would create an entirely new session. If you think about what we're doing when we're talking to these language models, it's essentially you're sending a chat history to the provider and then they're sending it back, right? And so every
Mm-hmm.
time you add a new message to your chat window, you're just appending a new thing to the chat, and you're not just sending that snippet. You're actually sending the entire chat history, and then returning it with the response, right? So
Mm-hmm.
because you're you're sending the entire chat every time, you want to be able to minimize that through a new session. If you're doing like a task that's kind of unrelated to something, you don't want to keep your chats going a long time. Once your chats go over like 400, 500,000 tokens, you're going to kind of burn all your token usage if you're going for really long bloated chats. So it's a question of not only your like managing your limits, right? But it's also like getting a focused chat to do the one task that you want to do, and then reusing new fresh chats. So that'll help your token usage as well. So those two, it'll be the model use and the way that you use the context of each session and keep it focused to the one particular task.
Yeah, awesome. And I've also like put in a couple of links in the chat. I found the skill. It's called RTK AI, which compresses the terminal command input before it actually reaches the AI model. So basically, it optimizes the prompts that we put in before it's consumed by the model, so that from there we started. And there are also like a couple more skills that if you just search for it, you'll be able to find it. Or I can always like share it in the community if you are part of my AI community. Yeah, so that, I guess, that answered the question of whoever asked how do you save tokens. Anyways, let's move back to you, Alan. So, what is next on your like list of plans after your nomad cruise? So, let's say the cruise makes it through the Titanic route and then reaches New York City. What are you gonna do next?
Yeah, so I'll be in New York for a while. I have a former colleague of mine who's in Texas, in a startup, building a startup. So I'll be visiting there. So I'll be in Texas, seeing because there's a bit of a tech scene in Texas. And yeah, after that, I have a load of friends that are going to be going to Brazil. So yeah, it'll be a case of meeting the people on the cruise and finding them and traveling with them. But then eventually I'll end up in Brazil with a whole lot of people from the nomad community. And yeah, all of those guys, a lot of them have their business. They're working online, so we'll find like a co-working space. We'll find like a nice like community area, like to live together, and then we'll find like a gym near, and we'll find like a little community to
Yeah.
yeah to work together and yeah continue building together.
Amazing. I think I've seen something similar to this on Instagram, and this is something that's trending as well. There is a specific person who hosts this kind of a retreat, who takes a group of people who are either founders, business owners, or like remote workers. So he takes them to such retreats. He'll book out an entire Airbnb or an entire villa, like 9 BHK or 10 BHK villa, and they'll be each other's accountability partners. So they'll build together, they'll stay there for like a month or something, do the pool together, do gym together. And yeah, I think this a whole avenue of people, strangers coming together and then, helping each other build is the next big thing. But you've been doing this for a very long time, I guess.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I love this life in some ways because I don't know. I guess like if you're living in one, like if you're not in the nomad scene, you might not know, but like everyone works together, lives together, eats
Mhm.
together, socializes together. So you're kind of always with your friends. And if you're living in a city or something like that, you kind of got to plan every time to kind of meet each other. Whereas, and if you're working remotely and you find a community of friends, then you can do everything together. So every day is like a lot of fun, a lot of playfulness.
Yeah, amazing. And I just saw one of the questions. So you remember Arpit, one of the other AI educators who were with us for a very brief amount of time. I think he's joined the Insta Live and he has put a question: how to transfer all Claude information to Codex? So before you answer that, Alan, I just want to mention something to Arpit. Hey, Arpit, if you're watching this, I wanted to know if you continued to live here, you might not even ask this question by now. So we have a huge beef to deal with you. Anyways, jokes aside, it's pretty simple, Arpit. I'll let Alan answer if you're interested. Mhm.
Sure. Yeah, Jack, Arpit, you gotta get back. We missed you, man. We missed you. But yeah, I actually had the same issue. I actually created a skill called a handoff skill. So and what this was basically I basically invoked it, and what it is, it transferred an entire chat history from one of the chat windows to another. And I
Yeah.
did this for the CLI. So I'm using Claude CLI and then moved to Codex CLI. And it basically searches the chat history and then ports it over into a new chat window and opens it up. So that's kind of what I did. I created like a handoff. But yeah, memory management across the different tools. You kind of have to be aware of that, the slight differences in between the way the configuration is set up. So the like your root context is Claude MD in Claude, and then agents.md in Codex. So you kind of have to have some sort of workflow automation to kind of keep those up to date with each other if you're switching between the models. Which I also do that because I want to token max as RT is doing. So I want to switch between Claude to Codex and from Codex to Claude, and I want to keep that transition between the different providers as like smooth as possible. So those are the things I do. Create
Yeah.
a handoff schedule, and yeah, make sure your memory systems are up to sync with each other.
Yeah. And to add to that, like if your question is to just switch from Claude to Codex and never go back to Claude again, I'd say as soon as you download Codex, it'll ask you to import your things from Claude. And if you do that, I've seen that all the memory, the agents.md, all of those information also gets imported onto your Codex, and the Codex automatically understands from it. It's like a I think it's OpenAI's way of poaching people from Claude to Codex in a very simple manner. That also works. If again, Arpit not being here, he might not get Alan's help of writing the SQL script of like transferring all the knowledge from Claude to Codex. So this is something that you can do, Arpit, or you can always like come back to Jungli and we can help you in person. Yeah. All right. Um, what else, Alan? What else do you have to share? Some cool projects that you worked on. I mean, very recently, like in your automation business, you did mention that you helped your friend with 2,000 plus clients and automate the follow-ups and outreach that you did to help with this business. What else? Is there anything cool that you are working on and you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, I could talk about all that stuff, but I actually want to shout out some of our students as well, and like some of the people that we've seen since we've been here. I don't mind if you want me to shout out some of our students, because some of the people that we've had on the program, it's just been really amazing to see their progress going from zero to really being able to build and be super confident, and see some of the projects that they built as well. I don't know if you have any standouts, but I think one of the standouts was definitely Aditi. Did you see
Yeah,
how she went viral on Twitter? She
yeah.
vibe coded the Bangalore startup map,
Hmm.
and she basically showed all the startups in the center of Bangalore. And then she got so many views that she even managed to create a jobs board, and she even added some advertising slots, which she sold as well because she got so much traction, and even a newsletter. And all of this, she basically put her vibe coding skills that she learned from us, from Artie and me, and put it into practice. And because she's super smart and super, she has high agency. She was able to build something really cool. And so, like, I just want to celebrate all our students who are taking their knowledge and building cool projects while, like, after the program's finished.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Aditi was definitely a standout. I'd say the way she pushed us to kind of like, reinvent the whole curriculum and kind of like build things from scratch just for her, which was like super awesome. She's such a cool person. I've put the link to the Bangalore startup map for anybody who's not aware of it. Just take a look. And if you have a startup that's in Bangalore, put it on the map. So yeah. And also there is this one other person who just graduated from Jungli, right? The 10-year-old Mehar. So she's an yeah, I mean, I'd say like she's such a brilliant person. She brought a lot to the table. She understood each and everything, and she remembered things. And I think just yesterday, her dad sent me a video of her explaining the whole app idea that she built. She was explaining her. I mean, one of his friends, I guess, was questioning her about how she built it. So yeah, to give you an overview of what the app is. So she built an app of she's a gymnast. So she wanted to coach other people who were interested in learning gymnastics. So she built a gymnast app where you can simply log in, and then you can learn from the videos that she has. I mean, she recorded the videos of herself doing cartwheels, handstand, and many other positions in gymnastics. You can watch that, and you can simply like do that specific action, and the AI model at the back end would rate your how you did that action. So Alan here tried it, and he got 4 in the first try, and then you improved it in the next try. I guess you got 5 or 6 out of 10. So yeah, that's an app that she built, which was pretty awesome, I thought. And she was explaining it to this friend of hers. So this friend was a grown man, and he had so many questions. So how does the model know, and how does it evaluate a person by just like looking at the video? So she was like super smart in explaining the model name, that she's using something called Gemini 3.7 Flash. She said the name, a 10-year-old. And also she mentioned about the image recognition part of it, the segmentation part of it. So I did mention all of these things to her like just once, while she was building it. But she remembered it, and then she was like explaining it, and it was like crazy. So yeah, that's one more student standing out.
May has Supergirl. Like, like my hands, like I got up and was like the guinea pig. So she showed a techniques of how to do handstands. So I got up and did like a terrible handstand with my legs were kind of like all over the place, kind of like this. And then in the app, she gave like some tips with video analysis using AI. And then it told
Mhm.
me, okay, you want to get your legs straight. So that I tried again, and it was like the perfect coaching tool, right? So she's really got an aptitude for building with AI. She can build the tools, and she knows how to make it useful so users get value instantly. And that was like her first ever product that she built.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was super cool that she built that, and we definitely shout her out as well.
Yeah. Meher, I don't know if she's watching this. Probably I'll share this portion of it with her after the live post, after the live ends. So yeah, shout out to Meher. If you ever wanna get seek inspiration from someone who's like building an AI, I'd say take a look at Meher, because she's just 10 years old. She's just gotten introduced to AI, and she built this cool, amazing app. Yeah. Anyways, we have a couple more questions in the chat. So Arpit has Arpit replied that, damn, I missed so many things by not being in Jungli. Yeah, you better be sorry, Arpit. Anyways, there is one more person, Mano. Hey, Mano. So she's totally agreed with you about from going from 0 to 1. I think this was when you mentioned like how people should learn AI, I guess. And also the question is from Nikita. If you remember Nikita from our first cohort, she has posted a question: how does the industry treat you if they know you have built something with AI and not by yourself? Hmm. Deep. I personally think, Nikita, everybody's building with AI these days. Even the guys at Anthropic, they use Anthropic models to build Anthropic, and Anthropic has like admitted and agreed to it. So I don't think building with AI is a taboo anymore. And also, like, I don't think writing content, like putting marketing materials out there, that is AI, is again a taboo anymore. People are doing it, and a lot of them are thriving by doing it because it's faster and it gets your content out there. So, yeah, I don't think the taboo exists anymore. What do you think, Alan?
I think I agree with that. I think, from a software perspective, I think the thing is, I think a lot of the software engineers were, I want to say, I don't want to be, I want to be humble about it, but a lot of the software engineers were very ahead of most people when it came to the models, because the large language models are extremely good at coding because they have so much trading data on the coding. So these language models are very good at coding and building very complex features. So software engineers were using like AI tools pretty ubiquitously quite early. Once the models instantly got better, they were like, so many people were adopting them. And so now I don't think I know too many engineers, technical like software engineers, who aren't using models. So there's not really a taboo. It's just more like, can you use the tool in the right way to get good results? And in the same way for marketing, right? Like some people might mention AI slop, right? And you don't want to create AI slop, so you want to ensure you can sort of guide the model as you use the tool more and more. You'll be able to guide it in the right way to make sure it isn't just like AI generated, where it can be reliable and stand the test of time. So I think AI is not going to go anywhere in the next few years. Everyone's using it, and you've just got to kind of learn how to use it in the right way.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess Nikita is also building an app for travel agents. If I can add, I don't know if she'd be comfortable with me sharing this here, but anyway, she's also working on something. I'm not gonna reveal her IP here, but it'll be super cool to get Nikita onto the live sometimes. Maybe sometimes the next month when she's here. Um, all right, and we'll move on to the next question that we have. I want to know more about how to strategize AI implementation for an organization. Okay, I think Alan, you might be the best person to answer this. So, you're building AI tools for as a business, or like you're building it for a business. But how do you actually like, implement it in an organization? Because that's a whole other ecosystem and setup, right? So, what do you think?
Yeah, there's different levels. Are you building it for someone at an organization who's going to use it only on their machine? Or are you using it where multiple people will need to access it um, remotely? And so, do you have a deployed AI agent on a computer in the cloud versus locally? And that has big implications for the differences. So, deployed AI agents versus people using their own Claude code on their computer, like the differences there are pretty big. So depending on the use case, I mean, when would you want to be deploying it on in a virtual environment, like in a computer on the cloud? It'll be when you want it essentially running 24/7. If I close my laptop now, and Claude Code's running, then it won't be running if my computer's off, right? In a with a executable environment. So for when you're talking about a business use case, when you need availability at all times, you have to have it running at all times. You essentially, which a lot of enterprises do, you'll have to have a little bit of knowledge of getting your AI agent deployed on a server. such that it can always be available. So that's kind of one component of it. You'll probably be able to talk about this other component that I want to mention as well, Artie, which is enterprises often are dealing with, like very sensitive data, or data, proprietary data that cannot be sent anywhere. And so for that reason, a lot of enterprises will not allow you to send it to any LLM provider. So you might have to self-host models like on your own infrastructure. Um, you can't send, for example, medical data to Anthropic, right? If that has, personal medical records. So I think hosting of AI infrastructure and which kind of provider you use and whether you self-host is also a consideration. So yeah, those are just two examples.
Yeah, I'd agree on that because a lot of my clients I work with who work in big organizations, they come to me with the restriction of not using Claude or even Codex. So some of them might have Copilot, so you can only do so much with Copilot, right? Like it's not like Claude. So yeah, I suggest the same thing. Self-host models, get a server because it's a big organization. They would have a lot of servers lying around. Get access to one of those servers, launch, set up your own, host your own models, like open source ones, so that the data doesn't go out. Um, and also, speaking of open source models, I hope we are not like out of time. But anyways, what is your thought on the discussion about, open source and the closed source model, like the closed weight model, like, the distance between them is shrinking because, like even 6 months ago, Claude was like on the top charts, right? Like the Claude model, Opus or Sonnet were always like in the topmost part of the leaderboard. Whereas like models like DeepSeek, Quen, and all, like they came, neck to neck. But right now, there are a lot of models out there, like Kimi, that was recently launched, and then recent model of DeepSeek, which is like, again, like, super competent, similar to your Fable. So, what do you think? Is the open and closed source, like, the distance between them is closing? Where is the world heading?
Yeah, I think the direction is definitely open source long term. And I actually hope it does go more open source, just because I like open source software. When you have an open internet, you have the freedom and openness of information, and you kind of democratize technology, so more people can use it, right? So you can, by having, you mentioned like a Kimi K3, this kind of model is super powerful, like benchmarking similar to the frontier models. And this means that any provider or person who has the ability can now host these models. And I think when you're talking about smaller models, especially, I think we're educators, right? And what we love, like democratizing education, like everyone having as much ability to access education. And soon with some of these smaller models that, for example, can fit on a mobile phone, suddenly you'll have this concentration of knowledge and ability to get information at your fingertips. And it just seems like information is just collapsing in being concentrated. And so we want open source models because we want to be able to spread this knowledge around the world. And I'm not as in favor of when the open source providers, they sometimes put guardrails around information and can control information. So certain prompts, you'll start to be noticing this recently. Certain prompts will trigger an error response from the frontier providers like Claude. If you prompt certain things, it just won't allow you to write it. So I want the free information for education to be able to get the information that they want. So I'm in favor of the open source. So that's just me though.
Yeah, I'll agree with you because Even today, if you use Fable 5 to work on tasks like with regards to healthcare or cybersecurity, it auto switches you to Office because Fable 5 is like too powerful and it might, might be like misused by threat actors to, hack something, or like I don't know what they're afraid of. But that's something that I'm not truly a fan of, and that's one thing. The other thing is like all of these, if we completely totally rely on these providers like Anthropic or OpenAI, I think we are restricting ourselves to the models that's like made available to us. So initially, like when Fable 5 was launched and it was like too powerful for anybody to use, I think the US government, they kind of like restricted to be not available anywhere outside of the US. And even for those who were like inside US, and if they were not like US citizens, they were like denied access. So one funny example is Andre Karpathy. He's Anthropic's employee, but not a US citizen, so he did not have access to cable for a very short period of time. So yeah, I completely agree with you. Open source is the thing, and NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang, he also like mentioned very recently, and one of his letters went viral, right? Like the where he asked all of the different model providers right now to come together to build something in the open source space. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about our future. Mhm.
Me too. Let's hope so. Yeah, I think you got to mention China as well, right? Because they are leading the way in the open source realm. They're really pushing. I think the thing about the American providers is they have the developed markets and the venture capital backing.
Mm,
So a lot of these big providers, the frontier labs, they're being funded despite not being profitable yet, right? And spending billions and billions.
mhm,
So what the Chinese model providers are doing, they're actually optimizing a bit more for cost. And yeah, if you're trying to make something viable long term, you kind of want it to be viable in terms of economics. So I think that it's just an inevitability that the open source will outstrip the frontier labs who are yet to be profitable in that sense. But that's my controversial take.
hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with you easily. Again, so uh, I think the Western world, like with the model providers and everything, they are like realizing this that China is like occupying the huge market, and then people are like actually switching to all of these different models, and that's why Meta released an open source model like Muse Glimmer, if you're aware, and then also like Claude and OpenAI kind of like constantly they give you free credits for some reason for like selected few, and also like they constantly come out with different features to make a life simple, I'd say. And XAI has also like joined the race of launching the Grok bot, which is again going viral right now. A lot of them are using it, and it's like I personally find it like very useful because it's like super easy to create a multiple agents. It's easier than Claude, I'd say, to kind of like work for you. You have like one chief of staff and multiple sub agents working under it, doing all of your tasks, like following up with your leads, or like bringing in more leads, or like looking at your emails, keeping up with your work, tasks and everything. So yeah, I think it's pretty good for us as users, I'd say.
Yeah, I think all the competition means that everyone's just trying to build the best kind of AI agent harnesses and best models and providers. So it's like all of this competition means like some of the tools are just amazingly good. So we're kind of spoiled in that sense. And I
Mhm.
think like what we saw in January when OpenClaw went viral was just the first iteration of sort of open source AI agents, and I think they're only going to get more easily, more user friendly to sort of build them in the way that you want to as time goes, and we sort of work it out, and as the architecture gets
Mhm.
better, and the models are more efficient and better more easy to run.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And I think open law revolution brought in a lot more, like Hermes agent. Um, I think the recent Grokbot and a lot of the other things that followed OpenClaw. Open was a pretty cool thing. Anyways, oh, it's like about means 9:37. I think should we keep talking or should we bring this to a close?
I mean, do you have anything you wanna mention before we end it? What's on your mind at the moment? In the I want to pick your brain in the AI space before we end.
Yeah. hmm I think I don't know. We spoke about a lot of things, starting with what we can do with AI. Basically, we started off there and spoke a bit about open source models and also like a couple of things that inspired us along the way. A lot of learners that we've worked with. So yeah, I think we've covered a lot of grounds today. And for me, I think I'm pretty excited about the whole future of what new tools would come out, and you know, so I have, if in we'll close out with this specific thing. Okay, I'll quickly share my screen. So I always like show this to everyone that I teach. Okay, let me bring my screen here so that you know exactly what I'm talking about. Mhm. All right. I think my screen is shared. I'm just adding it to the screen. Okay, so the graph or the colorful dots that you see here, I don't know, many of you might have already seen it. Alan, you also would have seen it, obviously. So each dot over here represents 3.2 million people approximately. All right, and in the entire box mentioned here, it's the total population of the entire Earth. Okay, it's like 8.3 billion humans. We have 2,500 dots in it, and what do these colored dots represent is basically all the light green dots that you see over here. Those are essentially people who use the free version of AI. You know, the free users of ChatGPT, the free users of Claude to some extent. So anybody who doesn't pay a AI subscription, those are the light green dots. Okay, and there are like a lot of them. To be exact, it's 1.3 billion people. All right, and the green, dark green dots that you see, you have like a couple of boxes here. So they are essentially the AI workforce. So which means that comprises of 28 million people, which means like people who use Copilot or something, which is like which comes with um, your work. You're like forced to use it for your work. So that's the dark green dots. And the one single blue dot that you see are the academics, AI academics. So those are doing PhD in AI, those are doing like research on all of these large language models and stuff in academia. So that's just the one dot, like to be exact, approximately 3.2 million people. The yellow dots are those who are like paid subscribers. So if you have at least like one paid subscription to either your Claude, your OpenAI, or Grok, whatever models you use, so those are the yellow dots. And the purple dots are the vibe coders. You know, the term vibe coding, which got trending, which is trending for a couple of years now. So those are the purple dots, which comprises of around like one, two, three, four, five boxes. So 5 into 3.2 million, I guess. And the red dots are essentially people who are like making all of these AI models and tools, right? Like the employees at OpenAI, employees at Anthropic. So they are the people who develop these AI tools. So why I would always like show this specific chart to people I teach is basically there are these many gray boxes out there. You know, approximately 84% of the whole population who have never even touched AI. You know, forget about using Claude Code or Codex. They've not even like subscribe to chat gpt for that matters. So yeah, so people joining this call right here, you should, I think you are at least this a purple dot or at least a yellow dot, and majority of you would be green dots. So you're one. Yeah, you are one of the colors in the chart, and you're not one of the gray boxes. So you should be like pretty proud of yourselves. So yes, that's something that I wanted to share and end this with. Oh, I can see Alan clapping.
It's great. We are part of the few who've got ahead of the curve and started adopting the technology. So it's exciting. But I think I want to see more green dots and more dots generally, and I want to see less gray because I want to see more people get access to the tools, get access to the knowledge, and start using it and building and really yeah, putting it to the world and yeah, like improving all the world around them through this technology, which is just like the most amazing revolution that anyone could have ever seen. You know, this is like the printing press or something like super like the steam engine. I think this is one of the biggest technological revolutions, and we're like in the middle of it, and it's super exciting.
I'd have to agree with you. And that's why we are here, right? Like as AI educators who help people learn AI and then eventually graduate from the gray box to one of those colorful boxes. So, yeah, I think we can close with that. So, I'm going to put Alan's LinkedIn here in the chat. And those of you who are joining me on LinkedIn, you can already find Alan tagged in multiple places. So, and you know how to reach me. You can reach me on LinkedIn, or if you're already part of my community, that's where the conversations happen. So, Alan also has a lot of education programs, and if you're a business owner, please reach out to Alan because let me tell you, when your mind opens up to kind of like automate the admin part of your work and actually focus on the business that you fell in love with and started your whole business from because you fell in love with it, right? So find more time doing the business side of things and you know forward all of your admin tasks, your marketing tasks, and other non-business, non-businessy things, which is pretty essential for your whole business to operate. Hand it off to Alan because why not? Yeah. With that, thank you so much, Alan, for joining me on this live. And thank you, everybody who tuned in tonight to listen to this conversation. I hope you found it helpful. We were able to answer a couple of your questions. If you have more questions, again, feel free to reach out to any of us. We'll be happy to answer you. You have any last words, Alan, before you head out to the Titanic route?
Yeah, just like everyone keep learning, keep building, and yeah, I'm excited to see what the future brings. Thanks for having me, Artie. It's been a pleasure.
Amazing. Thank you, Alan. Thanks, everyone. See you around.